Hi there, it's Claudio here. I'm one of the owners of and senior recruiters at Alex Young Recruitment, and welcome to the second episode of our facilities management podcast. We haven't given it a name yet, actually, so we need to start thinking of a name if we're going to do this regularly. But the idea is that we invite somebody from the FM industry on, have a 10-15 minute chat in order to hopefully, hear their story and inspire other people in the industry. And today I am joined by Mr. Netza Jack. Welcome, Netza.
Hi guys. Hi Claudio. How are you doing?
Netza is currently technical manager at the FA. So quite an exciting role, in-house position. And the FA obviously own Wembley Stadium. So Netza, thanks for coming on. So yes, we'll have a quick chat with you because interestingly, obviously during the lockdown, people have been on furlough, people have been made redundant, people have been, work has kind of really quite slowed down. But for you, it's kind of picked up, hasn't it?
It has. It certainly has.
And I would have thought that obviously with no football being on, no kind of NFL, no concerts and stadiums, that it would have been a quiet period. But, tell me, what have you been up to for the last, it's 4 months now that we've been in this situation?
It certainly has. Well, before I jump into that, it'd probably be good if I give an overview of what the technical role involves and where I sit within the FA.
Yeah, please do.
So, at least it will tell the story as I go on. So I sit in the operations team, FM.
Yeah.
For events and BAU being business as usual. And for the year leading up to March, I would say 1st of March, for first event for 2020, which was the Carabao Cup. And the only event we've had for the year with friends leading up to that, for the first 3 months leading up to that event, we've been very busy with projects, new projects for the stadium. So I would probably give you an overview. 3 of those projects involved upgrading the field of play lighting to LED, which was one to raise the level of the stadium in terms of its functionality, lighting displays and stuff like that, but also on the energy and sustainability side in terms of, reducing carbon footprint, stuff like that. One of the other items we did was during that lead up to the Carabao Cup was we upgraded the PA system, the public and voice announcement system, to a more up-to-date system similar to what Tottenham installed at their new stadium.
Right, okay.
The system we had was quite old, quite outdated. We couldn't do upgrades to it anymore. So and I would say the next major project we did, we replaced the pitch itself after, I would say, about 12 years of use. So we literally got rid of all the aggregate, all the dirt, laid brand new dirt. It was like building a house. And
really?
the grounds team spent 3 months reconstructing and new grass. A lot of people don't know that 10% of the actual pitch is artificial. So I had firsthand on.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's a real science behind it, and I saw firsthand seeing how this is stitched. It's actually stitched into the pitch.
Really?
And then amongst that, the seeds are planted.
Right.
So
okay.
that was.
So what's the idea? What's the idea behind that then? Having sort of 10% artificial.
So this also helps the. I'm not sure if you're aware, but when Wembley was opened in 2007, there were major issues with the pitch tearing and having large damage following any event or following the pitch being used for a football match. And this technology has been in use across Germany and Holland for some time, and it was brought to Wembley, I would say, about 2 years after opening.
Right.
And the whole aim of this stitching technology is to help bind the grass that is grown with this sort of artificial, what they call like a G8 technology
Yeah.
grass, artificial grass. This artificial grass is probably 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches long below the actual pitch level.
Yeah.
So hence the process of stitching or term stitching that is used.
Wow. So how long does that?
It
How long did
also
it take
helps.
to? How long did it take to replace the pitch then?
It took the actual replacement, removing the old dirt and putting the new dirt. That took about a month because there were loadings and
Yeah.
loads and loads of trucks coming in with aggregate. So yeah, there was a lot of removal and new dirt coming in and stuff like that. So the
Yeah.
whole process took about 3 months. So
Wow.
those were the three major projects we had at Wembley during that time. Then we had Carabao Cup. Following that, we were preparing for our busiest period, which was April into July.
Yeah.
If I give you a list of some of the events that we had planned, so we had the playoff championship playoff to come into the Premier League. We had the Women's FA Cup final, Men's FA Cup final, all the lower league playoffs,
Yeah.
and most of all, the most important event we had planned for this summer was Euro 2020. 7 matches, including the final at Wembley Stadium. So we had quite an itinerary lined up, but the
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
event we were
Massive.
able to host due to COVID-19 was what you call it, the Carabao Cup.
Mm.
But it didn't stop there, because leading up to that, there was also a list, a large schedule of projects that had to take place before the Euros and also leading up to NFL. NFL usually takes place in September, October
Yeah.
of every year at Wembley. So some of those events, some of those projects involve electrical resilience
Mm.
to the field of play lighting. So although we installed these new fancy LED singing and dancing lights,
Yeah.
we had to add some form of resilience to that in the event that we lose electrical supplies. Although we
Mm.
have quite good redundancy at the stadium, we wanted to mitigate that and ensure we had a closed loop system. So
Yeah.
that project had to be done. We're also demolishing the ramp, that famous ramp in front of Wembley that's coming down.
Why is
And
that?
to help address that, we're installing 2 new lifts in front of the stadium. So although
So why are
the
they getting rid of
stadium,
that ramp?
yeah, they're putting some steps and a lot more modern design. It's part of the whole gentrification exercise
Right.
that's
Okay.
taking place around Wembley. I'm not sure when last you went on to Wembley, but you probably won't recognize the area. It's totally different.
No, it's been a while, to be fair. Yeah, it's been a while. So just
Exactly.
going back to the lighting project that you've been up to, you say it's all this new fancy lighting. What's good about this lighting? That has it never been replaced since kind of it opened in
So
2007? Is this the first time it's been upgraded?
it's the first time. So at the time when the stadium was designed, a lot of people, you think of, all right, stadium completed in 2007. The
Mm.
actual design for the stadium took place around 1998, 99.
Yeah.
So all the items and all the materials that they would have procured
Right.
between 98 and 2002,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
when
It's a
it's
lot
built
older.
in 2007, by the time it's built in 2007, all that stuff is outdated already.
God.
And we live in a world now where, upgrades and new technology is rapid. It's on a daily
Really
basis now.
fast. Yeah.
So it also gave us the opportunity to help sell our venue for concerts and for big
Mm.
events like the Euros,
Mm.
where we could have light shows, because you have all these nice stadiums in Australia and
Yeah.
across Europe with these nice light shows.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember the Olympics in Brazil in
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, I
they
do.
had these really nice light shows.
Right.
So
Okay.
this gives us the opportunity to compete when we bid for major events, that we
Right. Okay.
have the technology to cope. So this was the right opportunity. But the COVID-19 gave us opportunities, and it also gave us some risks to deal with.
Mm.
Weighing towards more opportunity, especially on the project side.
Yeah.
And that allowed the FM team to be present, obviously working in line with the restrictions that we had, but it gave us a lot of opportunity to utilize our teams, limit furlough,
Mm.
and continue with these projects, uh, and see them through. Obviously, now that the stadium is not being utilized,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it presented quite a bit of opportunity for the FM team,
Mm.
and also for us to look at, what could we get done between this period and probably the end of the year, when, who knows, the FA may decide, or the government may allow us to
Mm.
start having limited occupancy for events at Wembley. So
Yeah.
this was
Yeah.
a perfect window. We'll never probably have this again, but it
Yeah.
was
Well,
a perfect window
hopefully
for
not.
us to take the opportunity to do, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, do you reckon? I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think that we might be seeing the NFL back in September, October, or is it going to be?
Okay, so
What's the word on the street?
because there's so much planning involved for these events, especially a month before, and the government has not yet given that green light for events yet, even limited events.
Mm.
Probably too late to have NFL. The NFL is our biggest. All right, FA Cup is a big event, but when the NFL comes to Wembley, it's a overwhelming event.
Yeah.
It
It's massive,
requires a
isn't it?
lot. It's a very demanding stakeholder and event owner.
Right.
The
Okay. So it's
preparation, the setup is intense. So
yeah.
it's probably too late now, and we won't see NFL at Wembley this year. What we'll probably see are some autumn internationals. England football team, we probably will see those, but at limited capacity at the stadium. I would say roughly about a third of the capacity,
Wow.
which
It's
isn't
insane,
bad,
isn't
but
it? Yeah.
it
Well,
shows
fingers
that
crossed.
we're
Fingers crossed we'll get to
going
see that,
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So what's kind of so obviously you've been busy with projects and I guess you've been working from home and just managing it all remotely, have you? How's that been? Has that been easy or has it been
So
challenging?
it has been, actually it's been quite good, because we were notified in early April that we will be doing some furlough. So in April, I spent all of April working from home.
Yeah.
In May, I was furloughed in May, and I came back off of furlough in June.
Cool.
So coming back in June was a bit different, where I was given some, opportunity, some autonomy to say, all right, how do you see yourself working in the workplace now that, we have the opportunity to relax some of the lockdown, but do you want to continue working from home? Do you want to, so I, spent a few days thinking about it and say, actually, I quite enjoy the working from home. I get a
Yeah.
lot done. It's quite, I'm seeing a bit more, being more efficient, especially
Yeah.
with the meeting technology, similar to what we're using now.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But also, so what I do now, I go to the stadium twice a week,
Mm-hmm.
and I spend the rest of the week working from home. This will probably be the practice, probably until, I would say, Christmas.
Mm.
Probably increase to 3 days a week, or
Yeah.
probably increase as we see more staff come in and to the office and stuff like that. But what we find ourselves doing now is we're sort of working with the data we have, in terms of looking at what departments are coming back. We're looking at what other organizations are doing. although we're a stadium, we're still an office within the stadium. So we're looking at what other businesses are doing. We're looking at how, other organizations are setting up for their staff to come back in. So it's a bit of using some of the experience and that is out there to make some of these decisions, because this is all new for everyone. Nobody has the answer. No one has the answer. So
no,
and it's also trusting. There's also that trust element with the working from home, which our senior management has been very good with, to allow us to work from home and have the ability to, improve our working space at home. Because I know for some people working from home is not ideal, and also given the opportunity to reach out and address situations where people have personal issues, being lonely or the mental health issue.
I know, so massively.
The support mechanisms are still in place; they're still there. So that's really good. It's really important.
That's good. So you've been busy doing all the projects. So you've been able to get all the projects kind of done now.
Yes.
So when they're all out of the way, moving forward, what do you see the challenges for you guys? Because if that's kind of the way I see it, is you've got the projects done. That's great. You're kind of going to be ahead of the game or ahead of your schedule. What challenges has COVID brought to you as a technical manager at Wembley? What moving forward?
Well, over the last 2 weeks, I think the biggest challenge has been put forward to us. As you're saying, across the nation, there's a lot of redundancies taking place. The FA announced that last week, was public knowledge within the public domain, that we would be making 124 staff redundant. And going forward, especially within the FM team and throughout the business, we set a 4-year strategy. And within that 4-year strategy comes your budgets, comes your objectives, comes your plans going forward for each year. And there's a spend, there's a team that needs to be involved, there's a certain level of resource that needs to be involved.
It's literally been just turned on its head now, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? So if it's 4-year planning,
right,
and so your budget's been cut, maybe your team, I don't know, your specific team is being cut as well, but it's kind of, so I mean, so you got to replan the next 4 years. Is that what's going to happen?
Well, the thing is, we have had some of our, we've had a portion of our budgets cut, a portion of in terms of the overall plan. The strategy is to stick to the plan, stick to the strategy in terms of the deliverables, but we have to achieve that with less resource. This is where the real challenge is going to come in. I wouldn't say much the budget, because we were able to prioritize to say, actually, this is a nice to have. We have to do this. We can go forward doing this because we have the budget to do it, although your budget has been cut. But the real challenge now is delivering this with a limited resource, or not the resource that we are accustomed to having. And that is where the real challenge is going to come. And that's, it's being able to work with and trying to fit this new model that the organization is putting forward. So
mate. No, I think it's going to be the same for so many businesses. It's kind of, but listen, hopefully things will get better, and we can just kind of. I'm optimistic. I don't know about you. I feel like the FM industry is. I feel like it should bounce back quite quickly. Fingers crossed it will. As people go back to work and fill offices, it will. It has to follow suit as buildings start to operate and events start to happen. FM gets busier, right?
There's a great deal of assets throughout that need looking after, and I think the FM teams, the FM organization will be at the forefront they have the opportunity now to be innovative and put forward their agendas, you know, in terms of how things can, you know, change in the workplace, how they're able to steer that and you know, embed those changes. So it's a very good time for the FM industry now. Very good time.
Yeah, cool. Listen, Netza, it's been an absolute pleasure talking, mate. Appreciate your time. Sounds like you're pretty rushed off your feet. So listen, we'll leave it there. And listen, thanks for your time. And we'll catch you up for a coffee soon, eh?
Certainly.
Take care, man. All the best.
Take care.